Hi, I'm Jay, and welcome to Homestead Japan. 日本語を喋ってる人は、気になったら教えてください。気になったら、字幕を作ってます。よろしくお願いいたします。So together with my wife Anne, we want to live a more wholesome life, a more self-sustained life, a more sustainable life and green life in general. And we would like to do that here in Japan. Um, I am originally from the US. I'm in my early 40s. I came from a small town in Ohio and grew up in what was a humid continental climate area. Japan is a little bit different. It's a humid, um, much more humid, like subtropical. I think I did not write that in my notes. Um, my great grandfather, my dad's dad, used to farm. I would help him when I was younger sometimes. My mom's dad was farming for family food. His wife, my mom's mom, canned everything. My dad has done a bit of farming, and my mom does a little bit of gardening. I wouldn't call it farming. Well, I guess dad doesn't anymore either. He's retired now. Um, but so I have some background there. Currently, I live in a rental house. I grow my own food to a small degree. In my parking spot, I don't have any dirt. I have a balcony and a parking area. And I can't even use the whole parking area because, A, they need access to deliver propane to the tanks attached to my house. So I have to leave a path open for them. And also, the various meters and utilities are in little boxes underground. So I can't put plants on any of that. And I can't build anything at all. Like Japan is very strict about that. So I'm working with what I have. A lot of the vertical growing options too either aren't sold in Japan, aren't coming to the market in Japan soon, or the cost is absolutely ridiculous. And for the ones that are sold, the size is just not great at all. So one of the things that I want to talk about on this channel is what we do to get around that, what we can do in the space that we have, what you can do in an apartment, in a rental house in Japan. And ultimately, our goal is to buy property and have a homestead. There are certain things for legal reasons we also can't do in Japan. That's one thing among many that I'd like to get into in another video. But the short version is, for example, for pigs or cattle, you cannot slaughter your own animals. I think goats might be the exception, but sheep are not. It's weird. Birds you can. So there are a lot of things that would require extra steps. And there are penalties and they are enforced if you try to butcher your own animals, even if it's purely for your own on farm family consumption. People have been caught doing that and face legal penalties. So that's another topic I will get into in a future video. Right now, I don't have an exact schedule lined up. I'm starting a new job, a remote job, to hopefully help me be able to do this. And that will definitely require the bulk of my attention in the near term. But we've been planning to do this channel for a while now. And I have pages of ideas that I would like to go forward with. Yeah, a full page in two columns of just video ideas and things that I think people might be interested to know about in Japan. Um, I am an engineer, software engineer by trade. I've done almost not every job. I've done a variety of different jobs over the years, from working in a movie theater to working on a farm, baling hay when I was younger, baling hay and straw in the summer. Not the most fun work, but definitely give you some muscle. And I've worked in fast food, I've worked in restaurant management. I've done a little bit of everything. So that's a little bit about my background. Hobbies, I am into archaeology. Trying to work my way through a Japanese book on archaeology right now, which is a little bit difficult. Grammar actually is the most difficult part. And this is a elementary school, so up to what in the US would be like middle school level. This is a problem too with things in Japan. If you do not speak Japanese and especially do not read Japanese, a lot of things will be very difficult for you, and you can't make assumptions, as I've discovered by looking at these laws. You cannot make assumptions on the laws. Many areas in Japan, if the land is considered farmland, you have to get a license. You have to become a licensed farmer to work that land, and that depends entirely on where you're at, as to what that process looked like. It's not a national process. Um, as for why Japan, I've since I've been living here, I've had a what I feel is a better quality of life, at least for what I value, than I was having in the U.S. I mean, healthcare and dental care have been great and super affordable here. Public transit, which I'm a big fan of, and yeah, moving to a homestead, we're probably going to have to give part of that up. But there are some properties that are right on the edge of town that we could reasonably just rent a truck when we need a truck, and otherwise just walk and bike to town and then be on a train. So, for example, my wife could work off farm, or if I ever had to, I could work off farm. Those are obviously more hard to come by, and I'll get into that in a video on properties and properties that I'm looking at. Um, but as for why Japan, it's just a very easy place to live in a lot of ways, very difficult in some ways, very easy in a lot of ways. And with the urbanization of people just coming to big cities and those cities sprawling, there are a lot of opportunities to get land, um, at a very cheap, sometimes even free level. I have a family member who's willing to transfer me a large chunk of land right now. My wife's uncle, but we're not ready for that one yet. So I'm currently in the process of looking at other more small scale affordable options. Heavily debating living close enough to Tokyo that the commute would not be outrageous, so that if we needed to support ourselves or whatever with off farm jobs, that still wouldn't be an onerous commute or anything. But ultimately, I'd like to be further north, and in north of Japan, we've got decently good weather. If you stay far enough away from the coast for tsunami and far enough from the middle to avoid a bunch of the snow, especially to the west of the mountains in northern Japan in the Tohoku region, um, there's a lot of snow, so there are some sweet spots in there. Some of them are close to civilization, some of them are not. So, what I would like to do on this channel is invite you all to come along on this journey, hear your questions, concerns, and ideas, and hopefully go from doing gardening and showing you what I'm doing around my rental to having a full homestead that people can virtually come along with and see just what you can do starting for almost zero. If you have any thoughts, please feel free to put them in the comments below. Questions as well. There's some things that I won't answer for privacy, but I'll answer a lot. My wife will make a video at some point in the future for her introduction, probably in Japanese, and I will probably subtitle it in English. But yeah, I hope this is something that y'all find interesting and that you're interested in. もう一度日本語の方々は、日本語欲しかったら、教えてお願いします。G マークとか、日本語だけの動画、まあ、妻は日本語喋ってますから、そういう感じもありそう。と、逆に英語の G マークを作っています。まあ、よろしくお願いします。Thank you very much and take care. Bye.